Many of you come here night after night, seeking that which you believe is outside of yourself. You seek techniques, methods, and formulas to manifest your desires. Yet I tell you, the greatest technique ever revealed to man is the technique of silence. Not a silence imposed from without, but a silence that rises from within, when the mind becomes aware of itself as the only reality. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. This logos is your own wonderful human imagination. It is the God in you that has been speaking worlds into being from the foundation of time. And this God, this divine creative power, operates most effectively in the silence of your own consciousness. When the human mind is noisy with the chatter of doubt, fear, and limitation, the voice of God, which is your own inner voice, cannot be heard. It is drowned out by the tumult of your surface thinking. But when you learn to still these outer waves of thought, to quiet the mind to its very depths, then you begin to hear that still, small voice that speaks with the authority of the universe. I tell you, God is not interested in your endless affirmations and your constant speaking. God wants you to be silent. For it is in silence that revelation comes. It is in silence that the seed of your desire takes root in the fertile soil of consciousness. It is in silence that the invisible becomes visible and the unmanifest becomes manifest. Now let me share with you a principle that has transformed countless lives, including my own. The principle is this: your consciousness is the one and only reality. Everything that now exists in your world was once only an idea in your consciousness. It had no reality outside of your awareness of it. And everything that will ever exist in your world must first be an idea, a seed planted in the rich soil of your consciousness. But here is the secret that few understand. This seed must be planted in silence. Just as a farmer does not dig up his seeds every day to see if they are growing. You must not constantly disturb your mental seeds with doubt, anxiety, and endless chatter. You must plant them in the silence of absolute faith and leave them to the perfect law that governs all creation. I have told you time and again that imagination creates reality. But tonight I wish to emphasize that imagination works most powerfully in the silence of complete acceptance. When you can be still and know, truly know, that your imagination is God, then you have discovered the secret of secrets. The Bible tells us that on the seventh day, God rested from all his work. This seventh day is not a period of time, but a state of consciousness. It is that state of silent knowing, of complete mental rest, where you no longer labor to make your desires come to pass, because you know they are already yours in the invisible realm of causation. Let me illustrate this principle with a simple example from my own experience. Many years ago, I desired to travel to Barbados to visit my family, but I had no money for the journey. Instead of fretting and struggling and talking endlessly about my problem, I entered the silence. In that silence, I constructed a scene that implied my wish was fulfilled. I imagined myself walking up the gangplank, feeling the rolled up ship's papers in my pocket, smelling the salt air, and hearing the voices of my family welcoming me home. I did not do this once and then spend my days worrying about how it would happen. No, I entered the silence night after night, dwelling in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, until that feeling became more real to me than my physical surroundings. And then, through a series of events that no one could have planned or predicted, the means to make the journey materialized in my world. But it came not through my effort or my planning, but through the effortless working of the law that operates in the silence of complete faith. You see, the outer world is nothing more than the outpicturing of your inner conversations. Your mental conversations are far more powerful than your spoken words. And in the silence of absolute conviction, these mental conversations shape the substance of your reality with an authority that no spoken word could ever possess. Now, someone might ask, but Neville, doesn't God want us to pray? And isn't prayer a form of talking to God? Yes, but true prayer is not what most people think it is. True prayer is not begging or pleading with a God outside yourself. True prayer is the feeling of gratitude and thankfulness that comes when you know your desire is already yours. It is the silence of fulfillment, not the noise of want. When Jesus said, when you pray, go into your room and shut the door and pray to your Father who is in secret, he was telling you to enter the silence of your own consciousness, to shut out the evidence of the senses, and to commune with the God within you who sees in secret and rewards you openly. This is the true meaning of prayer, not endless talking, but silent knowing. I tell you, God wants you to be silent, not just with your lips, but with your doubting mind, with your anxious heart, with your fearful emotions. For in that perfect silence, the power that created worlds finds unobstructed expression through you. The great mystics and seers of all ages have discovered this truth. They did not accomplish their mighty works through ceaseless activity or constant affirmation. They accomplished them through the power of silence, a silence so profound that in it they became one with the source of all being. And in that oneness, they discovered they could speak with the authority of God himself, and the elements of nature would obey. Now let us go deeper into this mystery of silence. There are different levels of silence, just as there are different levels of consciousness. There is the silence of the lips, which is merely the absence of speech. This is the most superficial form of silence, and by itself has little transformative power. Then there's the silence of the mind, where the constant chatter of thoughts subsides and you enter a state of mental quietude. This is a deeper form of silence and is the beginning of true meditation. But beyond this is the silence of desire, where all wanting ceases because you know that you already possess what you seek. This is the silence that Jesus spoke of when he said, therefore I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. This is not a silence of emptiness, but a silence filled with the absolute conviction of fulfillment. And finally, there is the silence of being, where you transcend all sense of separate selfhood and know yourself as one with the divine creative power that sustains the universe. This is the silence where miracles are born, where the impossible becomes possible, where the word becomes flesh. I want to emphasize that this silence is not a passive state. It is the most active, most powerful state you can enter. For in this silence, you are aligned with the creative forces of the cosmos. You are at the center of creation, speaking worlds into being through the silent authority of your own I am. Now someone might say, but Neville, the world is full of noise and distraction. How can I find this silence in the midst of my daily life? The answer is that you must make time for silence, just as you make time for any other important activity. You must set aside periods each day when you withdraw from the world of the senses and enter the kingdom within. For some of you, this might mean rising before dawn when the world is still asleep. For others, it might mean finding a quiet corner during your lunch break. For still others, it might mean the moments before sleep, when the conscious mind begins to surrender to the subconscious. The time and place are not important. What matters is that you establish a regular practice of silence, a holy habit of entering the secret place of the Most High. But remember, the goal is not just to experience silence during these special times. The goal is to carry the silence with you throughout your day, to live from the quiet center of your being, even as you engage with the noisy world around you. This is what it means to pray without ceasing, to maintain that inner connection with the God of silence, no matter what is happening in your external environment. Let me share another principle with you, one that is intimately connected with the power of silence. The principle is this: consciousness is the only reality. Everything else, the entire world of form and phenomena, is simply consciousness objectified. Your body, your bank account, your relationships, your circumstances, all of these are states of consciousness made visible. Now, if consciousness is the only reality, and if the world is simply consciousness objectified, then it follows that the most effective way to change your world is to change your consciousness. And the most powerful way to change your consciousness is through the silence of assumption. In the silence of your own being, you can assume any state you desire. You can feel yourself to be the person you wish to be, to have the things you wish to have, to experience the circumstances you wish to experience. And if you can maintain this assumption until it takes on the tone of reality, which it will do in the silence of complete acceptance, then your outer world must reshape itself to match your inner conviction. This is not positive thinking or wishful thinking. This is the creative use of the only true causative substance in the universe, consciousness itself. This is the art of conscious assumption, which is the secret of all successful manifestation. But remember, assumption only works in silence. If you assume you are wealthy today and then spend tomorrow talking about your bills and your lack, you have nullified your assumption with the noise of contradiction. If you assume you are healthy and then continually discuss your symptoms with others, you have drowned out the silence of healing with the clamor of complaint. This is why God wants you to be silent. Not to deprive you of expression, but to empower your expression with the force of unshakable conviction. For what you proclaim in silence, in the depths of your consciousness, will always carry more creative power than what you proclaim with your lips. Now I know some of you may be thinking, but Neville, I have tried to be silent. I have tried to assume my wish fulfilled. And yet nothing has changed in my world. To you, I say, check your silence. Is it truly the silence of knowing, or is it merely the silence of hoping? For there is a world of difference between the two. The silence of hoping says, I am assuming my desire is fulfilled, and I hope it will materialize in my world. This is not true silence, for it contains within it the noise of doubt and uncertainty. The silence of knowing says, I am what I have assumed myself to be, and the outer world has no choice but to reflect my assumption. This is the silence that moves mountains. Remember the words of Job, you will decree a thing, and it will be established unto you. But this decree is not made with the lips, or even with the conscious mind. It is made in the silence of complete acceptance, where your wish is fulfilled not as a future possibility, but as a present fact. Let me tell you a story that illustrates this principle. A woman came to me some years ago in dire financial straits. She had lost her job, her savings were depleted, and she faced eviction from her apartment. She had tried everything, applying for jobs, borrowing from friends, even praying in the conventional sense, but nothing had worked. I told her, the solution to your problem is silence. Not the silence of inaction, but the silence of absolute knowing. I instructed her to construct a scene that would imply her financial problems were solved. In her case, it was a scene where she was telling a friend how wonderfully things had turned around, how she now had more than enough money to meet all her needs. I told her to enter this scene each night as she fell asleep, to feel its reality, to hear the words coming from her own lips, to see the joy on her friend's face. But I also gave her a stern warning. During the day, be silent about your problem. Do not discuss it. Do not complain about it. Do not even think about it if you can help it. Maintain the silence of one who knows their prayer is already answered. She followed this advice faithfully, and within 2 weeks, she received an unexpected check in the mail, a tax refund she had forgotten about, plus interest, which was almost exactly the amount she needed to stabilize her situation. Shortly thereafter, she was offered a job that paid significantly more than the one she had lost. When she came back to tell me what had happened, I reminded her, it was not your action that created this change. It was your silence. The silence of one who knows the law and trusts it completely. This story is not unique. I could tell you hundreds like it from my own experience and from the experiences of those who have applied this principle of silence. The law works with mathematical precision when it is not interfered with by the noise of doubt and contradiction. Now let us explore another aspect of this power of silence. The Bible tells us that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. Notice the sequence here. Before God spoke the creative word, there was formlessness, void, and darkness. This represents the silence that precedes all creation. It is the still point, the zero state, the empty canvas upon which the divine artist paints the masterpiece of manifestation. In your own life, before you can speak your word with power, before you can effectively assume the state of your wish fulfilled, you must enter this same silence. You must become empty of all preconceptions, free of all anxiety about results, void of all attachment to methods and means. Only in this silence can the Spirit of God, your own wonderful human imagination, hover over the waters of your consciousness and bring forth the light of new creation. This is why meditation, contemplation, and all forms of mental stillness have been practiced by the wise throughout the ages. They understood that silence is not just the absence of noise, but the presence of unlimited potential. They knew that in silence, the finite mind makes contact with the infinite mind, and in that contact, all things become possible. I tell you, God wants you to be silent, because it is only in silence that you can hear the voice of God. And the voice of God is not some external authority telling you what to do. The voice of God is the still small voice within you that says, I am. It is the voice of your own divine identity, your own unconditioned awareness, speaking with the authority of the universe itself. When you say, I am, and really feel the depth and power of those words, you are speaking as God. For I am is the name of God, the only name by which the Absolute reveals itself in the relative world. And when you add to I am any quality, characteristic, or condition, you are determining the form that the formless will take in your experience. If you say I am poor, or I am sick, or I am unlucky, you are using the creative power of God to manifest those very conditions in your life. But if you say I am wealthy, or I am healthy, or I am blessed, and say it in the silence of absolute conviction, you are using the same power to manifest very different conditions. But here is a subtle point that many miss. The most powerful use of I am comes not in constant affirmation, but in the silence of simply being. When you can be still and know that I am is God, when you can rest in the pure awareness of your own existence without qualification or limitation, you have discovered the creative center of the universe within yourself. From this center, you can speak worlds into being, not with the noise of many words, but with the silence of pure consciousness. For the word that creates is not the word of human language, but the wordless word of divine intention, held steady in the silence of unwavering faith. Now let us discuss a practical application of this principle of silence. Many of you come to me with specific desires for wealth, for health, for love, for success in your chosen field. And you want techniques, methods, specific steps to follow. While I have given many such techniques over the years, tonight I wish to give you the master technique, the one from which all others derive their power. The technique is this: enter the silence of your own being, and from that silence assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Do not ask how it will be fulfilled. Do not worry about the steps that will lead to its fulfillment. Simply enter the silence of the end, the silence of completion, the silence of the wish fulfilled. If you desire wealth, enter the silence of being wealthy. Feel the ease, the freedom, the generosity that wealth would give you. See the world through the eyes of one who is abundantly supplied in all ways. Touch the objects that wealth would enable you to touch. Hear the words that wealth would enable you to hear. Become in consciousness the wealthy individual you desire to be. But if this is crucial, do this in silence. Do not brag about your imaginal wealth. Do not tell others about the techniques you are practicing. Do not anxiously look for signs that it is working. Simply live from the silent conviction that you are now what you have imagined yourself to be, and let the outer world reshape itself accordingly. The same principle applies to any other desire. If you seek perfect health, enter the silence of being perfectly healthy. If you long for a loving relationship, enter the silence of being deeply loved. If you aspire to professional success, enter the silence of having already achieved it. In each case, the key is the same: the silence of absolute assumption. This silence must be maintained not just during your specific periods of meditation or imagination, but as much as possible throughout your day. This does not mean you cannot speak or interact with others. It means that in your heart, in the core of your being, you maintain the silent knowing that your desire is already fulfilled. When others speak to you of their problems, listen with compassion, but do not inwardly accept their limitations as your own. When circumstances seem to contradict your assumption, observe them, but do not inwardly grant them the power to shake your conviction. When doubts arise in your own mind, acknowledge them, but do not let them disturb the deeper silence of your unwavering faith. This is the silence that Jesus maintained even as he was being crucified. This is the silence that allowed him to say, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." He did not see death as real because in the silence of his own being, he knew himself to be eternal life. And because he maintained this silence even in the face of apparent destruction, he was able to demonstrate the resurrection that is the birthright of every child of God. You too can achieve what the world would call miracles if you will only learn to be silent in the way I have described. For miracles are not violations of natural law, but the operation of a higher law, the law of consciousness which supersedes all lesser laws when it is applied in silence and faith. Now, I know that for many of you, maintaining this silence is difficult. The world is full of evidence that seems to contradict your assumptions, your own senses, your own memory, your own habitual thinking. All seem to argue against the reality of your imagined state. This is why the practice of silence must be cultivated, developed, strengthened through regular use. Start with small things. Assume a state that is not too far removed from your present experience and practice maintaining the silence of that assumption until it manifests. As your confidence grows, as your understanding of the law deepens, you can apply the same principle to larger, more significant changes. But always remember, the power is not in the size of your desire, but in the depth of your silence. A small desire assumed in perfect silence will manifest more quickly and more perfectly than a large desire held with doubt and anxiety. Master the art of silence with the little things, and the big things will take care of themselves. Let me emphasize another aspect of this silence that is often overlooked. The silence I am speaking of is not a passive, inactive state. It is not about doing nothing in the outer world. You should continue to take the actions that your position in life requires. If you have a job, perform it to the best of your ability. If you have responsibilities, fulfill them conscientiously. If opportunities present themselves, explore them with enthusiasm. The silence is in your consciousness, in your inner conviction, in your mental and emotional attitude toward yourself and your world. It is perfectly possible, indeed, it is essential to combine outer activity with inner silence. This is what Jesus meant when he advised us to render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's. Caesar represents the world of effects, the outer realm of form and circumstance. God represents the world of causes, the inner realm of consciousness and imagination. By maintaining silence in the realm of causes, by knowing without doubt or contradiction that you are what you have imagined yourself to be, you imbue your actions in the realm of effects with transformative power. This is why two people can perform exactly the same actions and get completely different results. One acts from the noise of anxiety and limitation, while the other acts from the silence of confidence and fulfillment. Though their outer movements may be identical, the consciousness behind those movements is worlds apart, and the results reflect this difference. Now, someone might ask, but Neville, if God wants me to be silent, why do you speak? Why do you give lectures and write books? Isn't this a contradiction? The answer is that my speaking comes from silence. It is not the noise of personal opinion or intellectual speculation. It is the overflow of that deeper silence where I know myself to be one with the divine creative power. And I speak not to convince you through argument, but to awaken in you the memory of what you already know in the silence of your own being. For you see, you are God, not in some abstract metaphorical sense, but in the most literal, most immediate way possible. The I am consciousness that reads these words right now is the same I am that spoke light into existence at the dawn of creation. It is the same I am that parted the Red Sea, that stopped the sun in Gibeon, that raised the dead and healed the sick through the body of Jesus. The only difference between you and these manifestations of divine power is that they knew their true identity in the silence of absolute conviction, while you have forgotten yours in the noise of sensory evidence and social conditioning. My purpose in speaking is not to give you something you lack, but to remind you of something you already possess, the power of silence, the power of I am, the power of God Himself expressing through your own wonderful human imagination. When you truly grasp this truth, not intellectually but in the silence of your own being, you will understand why God wants you to be silent. It is not to diminish your expression, but to ensure that when you do express, you do so with the authority of one who knows they are speaking as God. For only words born in silence carry the power to create worlds. Let me share one more principle with you before we conclude tonight's discussion. The principle is this: the state of consciousness from which you view the world determines what you see and experience in the world. If you view the world from a state of lack, you will see evidence of lack everywhere. If you view it from a state of abundance, you will see evidence of abundance everywhere. The world itself does not change, but your perception of it, and consequently your experience of it, changes completely. This is why it is so important to enter the silence of the wish fulfilled. For in that silence you have your world not as it appears to be, but as it must become to match a new state of consciousness. And since consciousness is the only reality, the world has no choice but to rearrange itself to reflect your silent assumption. Remember the words of William Blake: if the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite. The silence I am speaking of cleanses the doors of perception. It removes the dust and grime of leaking beliefs, fearful projections, and past disappointments, allowing you to see the infinite potential that has always been there. In this cleansed perception, you recognize that nothing is impossible, nothing is fixed or final, nothing is beyond the reach of your silent assumption. You see that the entire universe is fluid, responsive, alive with the same consciousness that beats in your own heart and thinks in your own mind. And in this recognition, you are free to create, free to express, free to become whatever you can conceive and believe in the silence of your own being. So tonight, I urge you to practice the power of silence, not as a technique to get things, but as a way of being that naturally attracts and creates the life you desire. Enter the silence of your own consciousness, and from that silence, assume a feeling of your wish fulfilled. Maintain this assumption not through constant effort or ceaseless affirmation, but through the quiet confidence of one who knows the law and trusts it implicitly. God wants you to be silent, because in silence you are most like God. In silence you create as God creates, not through labor and struggle, but through the effortless expression of your own divine nature. In silence you discover that you are not a helpless creature in a vast, indifferent universe, but the very source and substance of that universe, expressing itself in human form for the joy of creation. So be still and know that I am is God. Be silent and let the power that created worlds work through you to create the life you have imagined. For in the perfect silence of absolute assumption, all things are possible, and the Word becomes flesh before your very eyes. Remember, in quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Not in noise, not in many words, not in ceaseless activity, but in the profound silence of knowing, really knowing that you are what you have imagined yourself to be. This is the secret of secrets, the mystery of mysteries, the power of powers. And now as you leave here tonight and return to your daily lives, carry this silence with you. Let it be your constant companion, your trusted guide, your unshakable foundation. For the one who has discovered the power of silence has discovered the power that moves worlds, the power that transforms lives, the power that turns the Word into flesh and dwells among us. The power of silence is the power of God Himself, expressing through your own wonderful human imagination. Use it wisely, use it lovingly, use it confidently, and watch as the invisible becomes visible and the impossible becomes possible in ways that no one, including yourself, could ever have planned or predicted. For this is the promise of the ages, the testimony of the prophets, the secret taught by Jesus to His closest disciples. The kingdom of God is within you. And this kingdom is entered not through much speaking, but through the perfect silence of one who knows that I am is the name of God, and that this I am is your own true identity now and forever. Thank you, and good night. Faith is not born in the realm of logic.
It does not grow from the soil of what is seen and proven. It springs forth from the unseen, from a conviction that defies the evidence of the senses. To believe when reasons deny is not an act of the mind, but an act of the spirit, a deliberate choice to see with the eyes of the heart, rather than the eyes of the body. When the world presents contradictions, doubts, and impossibilities, the challenge is not in proving them wrong, but in standing firm in the knowing that they are irrelevant to the greater truth within. The outer world is but a reflection of inner conviction, a shadow cast by the light of our beliefs. If you accept the shadow as reality, you will remain bound to its limitations. But if you turn inward and embrace the light of your inner vision, the shadow must yield to the new image you hold. Imagine for a moment the thing you desire most. Picture it not as something far away, not as a dream to be pursued, but as a reality already here. Feel the texture of it, hear the sounds it brings, and allow its presence to fill you with a quiet assurance. This is not fantasy, it is the seed of creation. In this state, the reasons that deny your dream lose their power, for they are only reflections of past beliefs. Reason will tell you to wait, to plan, to consider the odds. It will point to evidence that seems irrefutable, to obstacles that appear insurmountable. But faith does not argue with reason, it transcends it. Faith looks at the mountain and does not consider its height or weight. Faith says, move and the mountain must obey, for it is not the mountain that has power, but the belief that moves it. In the quiet moments of doubt, when the mind races with fear and the evidence of failure looms large, return to the silence within. In that sacred space, affirm not what you see, but what you know. Speak to yourself as though the thing you seek is already yours. Say, I am not, I will be, declare it done, not in desperation, but in quiet confidence. The outer world may resist at first. It may throw up appearances that seem to mock your belief. But do not be swayed. The external must conform to the internal. It has no choice. Persist in your assumption, not with force, but with gentle certainty. Like a seed planted in the earth, your belief will grow, unseen at first, but inevitably breaking through into visible form. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between the promise and its fulfillment. It does not require proof, it requires trust. And this trust is not blind, it is the highest form of vision, for it sees what the eyes cannot. When reasons deny, let your heart affirm. When the evidence of the senses says no, let your spirit say yes. Believe, not because it is easy or logical, but because belief itself is the creative act that makes the impossible real. To believe when reasons deny it is the ultimate act of creation, for in that belief lies the foundation of all miracles. When you hold steadfast to what cannot yet be seen, you align yourself with the infinite power that shapes reality. This is not mere wishful thinking, it is the conscious use of a divine law that responds to conviction rather than appearances. Understand that the world you see is not fixed, it is fluid, malleable, and entirely subject to the beliefs you hold. Each circumstance you encounter is the result of past assumptions, whether made consciously or unconsciously. These assumptions have solidified into the reality you now perceive, but they hold no permanence. The moment you choose a new belief, you begin the process of reshaping your world. To believe when logic opposes you is to trust in the unseen processes of creation. You do not doubt that a seed planted in the ground will grow, even though you cannot see its roots taking form beneath the soil. In the same way, your belief is a seed. The soil is your imagination, the water is your persistence, and the sunlight is your unwavering faith. Though the harvest may not come immediately, it is inevitable as long as you do not dig up the seed with doubt. The mind, trained by the senses, will often rebel against this idea. It will demand evidence and urge you to rely on what has already been proven. But the senses can only report what has already been created. They are incapable of perceiving the new reality you are forming. This is why faith requires discipline. It demands that you look beyond the evidence and focus instead on the vision you hold within. When the outer world seems to contradict your inner vision, it is not a sign to give up, but a test of your resolve. The greatest transformations occur in the face of the greatest opposition. The resistance you feel is the friction of change, the necessary tension that precedes growth. Embrace it, not as a barrier, but as confirmation that the process is underway. The old must fall away to make room for the new, and this falling away can often look like chaos. Your task is not to fight the outer conditions, but to remain anchored in your belief. Speak to yourself as though the reality you desire is already here. Say it is done, and let those words sink deeply into your consciousness. Feel the truth of them. Let the joy, peace, and gratitude of having already received fill your being. This feeling is the secret ingredient, the force that propels your vision into manifestation. There may be times when doubt creeps in, whispering that your efforts are in vain. These moments are not failures, but opportunities to strengthen your faith. Doubt is the shadow that appears when you turn away from the light of your conviction. To dispel it, simply return to the inner vision. Close your eyes to the outer world and remind yourself of the truth you are creating. In this stillness, you will find renewed strength. The law of belief operates with unwavering precision. It does not discriminate between what is wanted and unwanted, it simply responds to the feeling of certainty. If you feel certain of lack, lack will appear. If you feel certain of abundance, abundance will flow to you. This is why guarding your thoughts and emotions is so vital. The quality of your belief determines the quality of your experience. To master this process, you must cultivate an inner dialogue that supports your vision. Speak kindly to yourself. Affirm your worthiness and your power. Replace thoughts of fear and limitation with thoughts of possibility and expansion. This is not an act of denial, but of deliberate focus. You are not ignoring reality, you are creating it. Understand that time is not your enemy, but your ally. The gestation period between belief and manifestation is a gift, allowing you to solidify your vision and prepare for its arrival. Use this time wisely. Continue to imagine, feel, and affirm your desired reality. Act as though it is already yours. This does not mean pretending or forcing, but embodying the state of being you wish to experience. The more you align with this state, the more natural it will feel. What once seemed impossible will begin to feel inevitable. This shift is the tipping point, the moment when the inner and outer worlds converge. The outer reality, which once denied your belief, will begin to mirror it with startling accuracy. What you once held only in your imagination will stand before you as fact. It is important to recognize that believing when reasons deny is not a rejection of logic, but an acknowledgement of a higher logic. The logic of the senses is based on past experiences and limited perspectives. The logic of faith is based on the infinite possibilities of creation. To operate from this higher logic is to step into your true nature as a creator. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every miracle has been born from this higher logic. The individuals who change the world are not those who accept things as they are, but those who dare to imagine what could be. They are the ones who believe in the face of doubt, who persist when others give up, who see the invisible and call it into being. You too have this power. It is not reserved for the few, it is the birthright of all who choose to claim it. The key is in your willingness to trust the process, to hold fast to your vision even when the outer world offers no confirmation. This trust is not blind, but rooted in the deep understanding that the unseen governs the seen, that belief shapes reality. The more you practice this, the more natural it will become. You will begin to see the outer world as a canvas rather than a constraint, a reflection rather than a rule. You will no longer feel bound by circumstances, but liberated by the knowledge that you can change them. This liberation is the essence of faith, the freedom to create without limits. As you walk this path, you will inspire others. Your life will become a testament to the power of belief, a living example of what is possible when one dares to trust the unseen. Others may not understand at first, they may question or doubt you. But their doubts are not your concern. Your only task is to remain true to your vision, to let your faith be the guiding force of your life. In time, even those who doubted will see the results of your belief. They will witness the transformation and marvel at the seeming impossibility of it. But for you, it will not be surprising, for you will have known all along that it was not only possible but inevitable. This is the reward of believing when reasons deny the joy of creating a life that reflects the deepest truths of your heart. Every moment offers a choice to believe in the evidence of the senses or to believe in the power of the unseen. Choose the unseen. Choose the vision that calls to you, no matter how unlikely it may seem. In this choice lies your freedom, your power, and your destiny. To believe when reasons deny is to step into the fullness of who you are, to embrace the boundless potential within, and to create a life that is truly your own. The essence of belief lies in its simplicity, yet its practice often feels profound and challenging. To believe when reasons deny it is not a leap into fantasy, but a deliberate alignment with the deeper reality of creation. Life is always responding to the assumptions you hold, whether you recognize it or not. Every experience you encounter has its root in the seeds you have sown in your inner world, consciously or unconsciously. The challenge is not in changing the external, but in choosing to master the internal. When reasons deny your vision, it is not because your vision is impossible, it is because the evidence of the outer world is tied to past patterns of thought. The world as you perceive it is a mirror reflecting back your most persistent beliefs and feelings. It cannot show you anything that does not already exist within you. This is why the task of believing is so crucial. You are not attempting to force change upon the external, you are simply choosing to embody the reality you wish to experience. It is easy to be swayed by appearances, to let the circumstances of life dictate your emotions and beliefs. But to live this way is to surrender your creative power. True mastery lies in remaining unmoved by the outer world and steadfast in your inner conviction. The outer world is fluid, constantly shifting in response to your inner state. The question is not whether it will change, but how it will change based on the beliefs you choose to hold. Doubt often arises when the gap between your desire and your current reality feels too wide. The mind, conditioned by the senses, seeks to bridge this gap with logical steps, plans, and strategies. While action has its place, it is secondary to the state of being you cultivate. The bridge is not built by effort, but by belief. The more you dwell in the feeling of your desired reality, the more the outer world will rearrange itself to match that state. This is not to say the path will always be smooth. There will be moments when the world seems to push back, when circumstances appear to defy your belief. These moments are not meant to discourage, but to refine. They are opportunities to deepen your faith, to anchor yourself even more firmly in the reality you are creating. The resistance you encounter is the result of old patterns being dismantled, making way for the new. In these moments, it is essential to return to the inner vision. Close your eyes to the world of appearances and open them to the world within. Imagine the life you desire as vividly as you can. See it, feel it, hear it, touch it. Allow it to become so real in your imagination that the outer world begins to fade in comparison. This is not escapism, it is creation. You are not running from reality, but stepping into a higher one. The feeling is the key. Words and affirmations alone are not enough if they are not backed by the feeling of certainty. It is not the act of saying I am wealthy that brings wealth, but the feeling of wealth itself. To truly believe, you must feel as though your desire is already fulfilled. This is the secret that transforms mere words into the power of manifestation. The mind will often resist this process, insisting that such feelings are unwarranted, that they are based on nothing. But this is the very point. Belief does not require evidence, it creates evidence. The feeling of having is the cause, the physical manifestation is the effect. To wait for evidence before believing is to put the cart before the horse. Every moment you spend dwelling in the feeling of your desired reality is a moment spent in alignment with the creative forces of the universe. These forces do not operate on doubt or hesitation, they respond to conviction. The clearer and more consistent your belief, the faster the outer world will conform to it. This is not a matter of luck or chance, but of law. You may wonder how to maintain this belief in the face of persistent challenges. The answer lies in repetition and persistence. Just as a river carves through stone over time, your belief, when held consistently, will carve through the barriers of the outer world. Each time you return to your inner vision, you reinforce the reality you wish to create. Each moment of faith is a step closer to its fulfillment. Gratitude is a powerful tool in this process. To give thanks for something before it appears in your life is to act as though it is already yours. This act of gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from desire to fulfillment. It is a declaration of trust in the unseen forces at work. The more you cultivate this attitude, the more natural it will feel to live as though your desires are already fulfilled. Patience is also required, but not the patience of waiting. It is the patience of knowing. When you plant a seed, you do not dig it up each day to see if it is growing. You trust that the process is unfolding, even if you cannot see it. In the same way, trust that your belief is working, even when there is no immediate evidence. This trust is not passive but active. It is a state of unwavering faith that what you desire is on its way. The outer world may tempt you to doubt, to question, to give up. It may present delays and detours that seem to contradict your vision. But these are only tests of your resolve. The universe is not working against you, it is responding to you. The delays are not denials but opportunities for deeper alignment. Each moment of doubt overcome is a step closer to mastery. To believe when reasons deny it is to rise above the limitations of the senses and step into the boundless possibilities of spirit. It is to claim your birthright as a creator, to declare that your life is not determined by circumstances but by the vision you hold within. This is not arrogance but humility, for it acknowledges the divine power that works through you. You are never alone in this process. The same force that created the stars, the oceans, and the mountains resides within you. It is not separate from you, but a part of you waiting to be called into action through your belief. When you align with this force, you become unstoppable. The obstacles that once seemed insurmountable begin to dissolve, and the path forward becomes clear. Your belief is the spark that ignites this force. It is the signal that tells the universe to move, to rearrange itself in accordance with your vision. This is why belief must be unwavering. A wavering signal produces wavering results. But a steady signal, sent with confidence and conviction, produces results that are just as steady. As you practice this, you will begin to see the evidence of your belief in small ways at first. A chance meeting, an unexpected opportunity, a sudden shift in circumstances, these are the signs that your inner work is bearing fruit. Pay attention to these signs and give thanks for them, for they are the first glimpses of the reality you are creating. With time, these small signs will grow into undeniable manifestations. The world around you will begin to reflect the vision you hold within. The reasons that once denied your belief will fade into irrelevance, replaced by the evidence of your faith. You will look back and marvel at the power that was always within you, waiting to be claimed. And in that moment, you will know that to believe when reasons deny it is not only possible, but the very essence of creation. Every great accomplishment in history began as an idea, a thought that someone dared to believe despite all evidence to the contrary. The power of belief is not confined to what is seen or proven. It is rooted in the unseen, the formless substance from which all things arise. This substance responds to conviction, not to doubt or wavering. To believe when reasons deny it is to harness this boundless power and to shape it with your unwavering intention. Life often presents itself as a series of challenges that seem to demand justification for your desires. The world may appear to demand reasons, logic, and proof before you dare to hold onto a vision that feels beyond your grasp. Yet this is the paradox: the very act of waiting for proof delays its manifestation. Belief is the proof in itself, for it aligns you with the reality you seek, making it inevitable. When you hold on to belief in the absence of evidence, you are not defying reality, you are engaging with a higher reality, one that exists beyond the limitations of time and space. Everything that exists in the physical world was first imagined, believed, and felt into being. This is not a speculative theory, but a law of creation. The visible is born of the invisible, and the bridge between the two is your belief. Consider the moments in your life when you achieved something that once seemed impossible. Perhaps it was a goal you set against all odds, a dream that others dismissed, or a personal transformation that defied explanation. Reflect on the process that led to these outcomes. Was it not your persistence, your refusal to accept limitations, that ultimately made the difference? Even if the path was unclear, your belief illuminated the way. To sustain belief in the face of denial requires a deep and abiding trust in the unseen. It is to recognize that your senses, while valuable, do not have the final word on reality. They are merely tools for navigating the physical world, not arbiters of what is possible. The greater truth lies within, in the realm of imagination and feeling. When you close your eyes and envision your desired outcome, you are engaging with this deeper truth. Imagination is not a frivolous escape from reality, it is the foundation of all creation. When you imagine something with clarity and intensity, you are planting a seed in the fertile soil of your consciousness. The mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. It simply accepts the images and feelings you impress upon it and works tirelessly to bring them into being. This is why it is so important to guard your thoughts and feelings, especially when faced with circumstances that seem to contradict your desires. It is easy to become reactive, to allow the outer world to dictate your inner state. But this is the opposite of mastery. To believe when reasons deny it is to remain steadfast in the face of opposition, to hold on to your vision with unwavering faith, no matter what. Faith is not blind, it is seeing with the eyes of the Spirit. It is knowing that the present circumstances are but a passing shadow, a temporary reflection of past beliefs and thoughts. The power to change them lies not in fighting against them, but in choosing a new reality to focus on. This choice is not always easy, especially when the world around you clamors for your attention. But it is in these moments of challenge that your faith is tested and strengthened. One of the most powerful ways to cultivate this faith is through gratitude. Gratitude is not merely a response to receiving it, it is a state of being that aligns you with abundance and fulfillment. When you give thanks for something as though it is already yours, you shift your focus from lack to plenty, from desire to realization. This shift is not trivial, it is transformative. It changes your vibration and draws to you the very things you are grateful for. The practice of gratitude can be as simple as closing your eyes and feeling a deep sense of appreciation for your desires as though they have already been fulfilled. Imagine the joy, the relief, the excitement of having what you seek. Let these feelings wash over you, saturating your entire being. This is not make-believe, it is creation. You are laying the groundwork for your outer reality to reflect your inner state. Persistence is another key. The world may not immediately conform to your belief, but this does not mean your efforts are in vain. Like a seed planted in the earth, your belief requires time to take root and grow. The temptation to dig up the seed and check its progress must be resisted. Trust that the process is unfolding, even if you cannot see it. Each day that you hold on to your belief, you are watering the seed and nurturing its growth. Doubt will inevitably arise, for it is part of the human experience. The mind, conditioned by the physical world, seeks evidence and assurances. When these are not immediately forthcoming, it may question the validity of your belief. This is where your inner work becomes crucial. Do not fight the doubt, acknowledge it, but do not dwell in it. Return to your vision, to the feeling of your desired reality, and let that be your focus. Every challenge, every setback, every delay is an opportunity to deepen your faith. These moments are not obstacles but stepping stones, each one bringing you closer to the fulfillment of your desires. They test your resolve and refine your character, preparing you for the life you are creating. Embrace them as part of the journey, not as barriers to your progress. As you continue to hold on to belief in the face of denial, you may notice subtle shifts in your perception. The world around you begins to feel less fixed, less rigid. You start to see possibilities where before there were none. Opportunities arise seemingly out of nowhere, and synchronicities become more frequent. These are not coincidences, they are the natural result of your inner alignment. The outer world is malleable, shaped by the energy you project. When you believe in something with all your heart, you are broadcasting a signal to the universe that cannot be ignored. This signal attracts people, circumstances, and events that align with your vision. It is not magic, it is the natural order of things. What you focus on expands, and what you believe in becomes your reality. To believe when reasons deny it is to live from the end, to act as though your desired outcome is already a fact. This is not about pretending or deceiving yourself, it is about embodying the state of being that corresponds to your desire. When you think, feel, and act as though you already have what you seek, you set in motion the forces that will bring it into your experience. This process requires courage, for it often goes against the grain of conventional thinking. The world may label you as unrealistic, naive, or delusional, but remember, every great achievement was once considered impossible. The pioneers, the visionaries, the creators, they all dared to believe in something greater, even when the world said it could not be done. You are no different from them. The same creative power that worked through them works through you. It is not reserved for a select few, it is available to all who dare to claim it. To believe when reasons deny it is to step into your power, to take responsibility for your life and your experiences. It is to recognize that you are not a victim of circumstance, but a creator of reality. This realization is liberating, for it means that you are never truly stuck. No matter how dire the situation may seem, you have the power to change it. Your belief is the key that unlocks the door to a new reality. It is the bridge that carries you from where you are to where you want to be. As you practice this way of being, you will find that it becomes easier over time. The more you align with your vision, the more natural it feels to believe in it, even when reasons deny it. You begin to trust the process, to relax into the knowing that all is unfolding perfectly. This trust is not passive, it is active and alive, a dynamic force that propels you forward. You are capable of far more than you realize. The limits you perceive are not real, they are constructs of the mind born of past experiences and conditioning. To believe when reasons deny it is to break free from these limits, to step into a realm of infinite possibilities. It is to claim your divine heritage as a creator and to live in alignment with the highest truth of your being. The act of belief is not merely a passive state, but a dynamic, transformative process that shapes the very fabric of your reality. When you dare to believe in something that defies reason, you engage with the fundamental law of creation that the unseen governs the seen, and the invisible molds the visible. This principle has always existed, silently weaving through the fabric of existence, waiting for those bold enough to harness its power. To believe in the face of contradiction requires an unwavering focus. It demands that you cultivate an inner world so vivid, so detailed, that it begins to feel more real than the external conditions opposing it. This is not about ignoring reality, but about elevating your consciousness to perceive a higher truth. Reality as you know it is not fixed, it is a reflection of past thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. By choosing to believe differently, you are planting the seeds for a new reflection to emerge. You must come to understand the difference between your physical senses and your higher faculties. Your senses serve to interpret the present moment, but your imagination, intuition, and feeling are the tools that shape the future. When reasons deny your desire, your senses may insist on focusing on lack, delay, or impossibility. Yet within your imagination, you can dwell in the fulfillment of your desire, creating a reality so rich and compelling that it overrides the limitations of the current moment. The power of feeling cannot be overstated. To merely think of your desire is not enough, you must feel it as though it is already real. Feel the joy, the relief, the satisfaction of having your wish fulfilled. Let it saturate your entire being until it becomes your dominant state of consciousness. The world around you will begin to rearrange itself to match this new state, for the outer world is but a mirror of your inner world. Doubt may arise, whispering that your belief is foolish, that evidence to the contrary is overwhelming. These moments are your opportunities to grow. Each time you persist in belief despite doubt, you strengthen your creative power. Each time you choose faith over fear, you align more closely with the reality you wish to create. This alignment is not a distant goal, it is something you can achieve in every moment by returning to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Time often seems like an obstacle, a barrier between you and your desire. Yet time is not the enemy, it is an ally that allows the unseen to take form. When you plant a seed, you do not expect it to grow overnight. You trust in the process, watering it, providing sunlight, and knowing that growth is inevitable. So too with your beliefs. Trust that the unseen forces are at work, orchestrating the details of your desire's manifestation. One of the most profound tools you have at your disposal is the power of detachment. Detachment does not mean giving up on your desire, it means releasing the need to control how and when it manifests. It is the confident knowing that what you have believed in is already yours, even if the physical evidence has not yet appeared. This state of detachment allows the creative forces to flow freely, unburdened by resistance or doubt. The practice of affirmations can help reinforce this state of belief. When spoken with conviction and repeated consistently, affirmations act as a bridge between your current reality and the one you are creating. They reprogram your subconscious mind, replacing old patterns of doubt and limitation with new patterns of faith and abundance. Choose affirmations that resonate deeply with your desires and speak them as though they are already true. Visualizations are equally powerful. When you close your eyes and see yourself living your desired reality, you are engaging in an act of creation. Make your visualizations as detailed and sensory-rich as possible. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the textures. Immerse yourself in the scene until it feels more real than the world outside. This practice trains your mind to accept your vision as fact, making it easier for your outer world to conform. Your words and thoughts hold immense creative power. Be mindful of the language you use both in your inner dialogue and in your conversations with others. Speak only of what you wish to create and refrain from dwelling on lack or limitation. Your words are like seeds, and what you speak into existence will grow. Choose words that reflect abundance, joy, and fulfillment, and watch as your reality begins to mirror them. Gratitude is another powerful tool for sustaining belief. By giving thanks for your desire as though it has already been fulfilled, you align yourself with the vibration of having. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present, creating a sense of completeness that draws more of the same into your experience. Begin each day with a moment of gratitude, and end each night by reflecting on the blessings in your life, both seen and unseen. Surround yourself with an environment that supports your belief. This includes the people you spend time with, the media you consume, and the spaces you inhabit. Choose influences that uplift and inspire you, that reinforce your faith in the unseen. Avoid those that feed doubt or negativity, for they can weaken your resolve. Your environment should be a sanctuary for your belief, a space where your vision is nurtured and protected. Above all, remember that you are not alone in this process. The same creative force that formed the stars and set the planets in motion is working through you. Trust in this force, knowing that it is limitless and unerring. When you align your belief with this higher power, you become an unstoppable force of creation. You step into your true identity as a co-creator, shaping your reality with intention and purpose. The journey of belief is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Each step you take in faith brings you closer to the realization of your desires. Each moment you persist in belief despite contradiction strengthens your connection to the unseen. And as you continue to cultivate this practice, you will find that belief becomes second nature, a natural expression of your creative power. You are capable of achieving what seems impossible, for you are a creator, and your belief is the key to unlocking the infinite potential within you. In the grand tapestry of creation, belief is the golden thread that weaves the invisible into the visible, the imagined into the real. To believe when all reason denies it is to transcend the limits of the physical world and align with the infinite possibilities of the divine. It is a journey of trust, resilience, and unwavering faith, a journey that transforms not only your circumstances but your very being. When you dare to believe in the face of contradiction, you awaken a power within you that is as boundless as the universe itself. You become a co-creator with the divine, shaping your reality through the visions you hold, the feelings you nurture, and the faith you embody. Let this truth guide you. The unseen is more powerful than the seen, and your belief is the bridge between the two. Hold steadfast to your vision. Cultivate the feelings of fulfillment, even when evidence is lacking. Trust in the process, for time and detachment are your allies. Speak words of life, gratitude, and abundance, and allow the environment around you to mirror your inner conviction. Above all, remember that you are not alone. The divine force within you is unerring, limitless, and always at work. As you walk this path, you will come to realize that nothing is impossible to the one who believes. You will see the once intangible dreams of your heart take form, and you will know that your faith has made it so. Embrace this power, for it is your birthright, and let your belief shape a life of purpose, joy, and infinite possibility.
Let me tell you about the law that governs all creation. Consciousness is the only reality. Everything you see in your world, everything you experience, is nothing more than your consciousness pushed out. Your physical reality is merely a shadow, a reflection of your inner state of being. Now imagine for a moment that your mind is like a garden. Every thought you think, every assumption you hold, every feeling you nurture is a seed planted in this garden. And just as surely as a seed grows into its corresponding plant, your thoughts and feelings grow into your experiences. You see, most people are walking around believing that their thoughts are simply reactions to their reality. But here's the profound truth. Your thoughts are not reactions to your world. They are the very cause of your world. Your consciousness is not a passive observer. It is the active creator. Let me share with you what I call the law of assumption. This law states that if you assume you are what you want to be and continue in that assumption, it must become your reality. It's not hoping, it's not wishing, it's not even believing, it's knowing. It's assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Here's what separates those who manifest their desires from those who don't. Those who succeed live from the end. They don't wait for circumstances to change to feel what they want to feel. They feel it first, knowing that the feeling precedes the manifestation. You know what's fascinating about your imagination? It's not a fantasy factory creating idle daydreams. Your imagination is the very workshop in which all reality is fashioned. But most people use their imagination to rehearse their fears instead of rehearsing their desires. Let me tell you about the power of your inner conversations. Every moment of every day, you're having conversations in your mind. These conversations are not mere mental chatter. They are the blueprint of your future experiences. But most people let their inner conversations be dictated by their current circumstances, rather than their desired reality. Now, some of you might be thinking, but how can my consciousness create reality? Let me share with you this eternal truth. Consciousness is the only reality. Everything else, every person, every circumstance, every event is simply consciousness manifested. Let me share with you the profound truth about states of consciousness. You see, every moment of your life, you're occupying a state. Every state you occupy must bear its fruit in your physical world. But most people occupy states unconsciously, never realizing they can choose their state at will. Your entire world is nothing more than your consciousness projected outward. When you understand this, you'll realize that to change your world, you need only change your consciousness. But here's the secret that few understand. You must persist in the new state until it feels natural. Now let me tell you about what I call living in the end. When you truly desire something, you must assume the feeling of already having it. You must sleep in the assumption that your desire is already a fact. Your physical senses may deny it, but you must remain faithful to your assumption. You see, most people make the mistake of trying to change things on the outside first. But here's the profound truth. The outside is dead. It has no life of its own. All life, all animation, all power flows from within. Your consciousness is the only living reality. Let me share with you the power of revision. Every night before you sleep, you have the power to revise your day. You can take any event that did go as you desired and in your imagination replay exactly as you wish it had gone. This is not mere fantasy. This is actually changing the past in your consciousness, which must then change your future. Here's what most people don't understand about manifestation. It's not about forcing changes in the external world. It's about changing your conception of yourself. When you change your self-concept, the world must reshape itself to match your new assumption. You know what's fascinating about your desires? They are God's way of telling you what you can have. The mere fact that you can desire something means it's possible in your world. But you must claim it in consciousness first. Let me tell you about the law of identical harvest. Whatever you plant in consciousness will grow into your reality. If you plant doubt, you harvest uncertainty. If you plant the assumption of success, you must harvest success. It's a law as exact as mathematics. Now, some of you might be wondering about time. How long would it take? But time is an illusion of the physical world. In consciousness, the thing is done the moment you assume it is done. The time it takes to appear in your physical world is determined by your conviction in its reality. You see, there's a secret about your brain that most people never discover. It cannot tell the difference between what you're vividly imagining and what you're actually experiencing. When you imagine with feeling, you're literally rewiring your brain to accept your desire as reality. Let me share with you the power of feeling. Feeling is the secret. It's not enough to just visualize or affirm. You must feel the reality of desire now. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the gratitude of having what you desire. Feel it so deeply that your whole being vibrates with the certainty of it. Here's what's profound about your imagination. It's not creating something new. It's selecting and bringing forth something that already exists in infinite possibility. But you must learn to use your imagination consciously, purposefully. Let me reveal to you the profound secret about your own magnificent mind. Your brain, you see, is not merely recording reality, it is creating reality. Every single thought you entertain, every feeling you embrace is literally reshaping the neural pathways in your brain. But most people never realize they are the sculptors of their own brain structure. Now understand this fundamental truth. When you fall asleep at night, your subconscious mind accepts as true the last impressions you held in consciousness. This is why I tell you never to sleep feeling worried or fearful. Instead, fall asleep in the absolute assumption that your desire is already fulfilled. You see, there's something miraculous about the state akin to sleep, the state between waking and sleeping. In this drowsy state, your conscious mind's resistance is lowered, and your subconscious becomes incredibly receptive to new impressions. This is the perfect state for impressing your desires upon your subconscious mind. Let me share with you what I call mental diet. Just as you carefully choose what you feed your physical body, you must be even more selective about what you feed your mind. Every mental conversation, every inner assumption is food for your consciousness. But most people mentally feast on the very things they wish to eliminate from their lives. Here's something profound about your imagination. It speaks in the language of feeling. When you imagine something, feel it as though it were happening now. Feel the texture, the weight, the temperature. Feel the emotional satisfaction of having your desire fulfilled. Your brain responds to this feeling as though it were actually happening. You know what's fascinating about consciousness? It operates at multiple levels simultaneously. Your conscious mind might doubt. But if you can get your subconscious to accept an idea, it must become your reality. This is why feeling is so crucial. Feeling bypasses the conscious mind's doubts. Let me tell you about the power of your self-talk. Every time you say I am, you're making a claim on existence. You're literally programming your subconscious mind. But most people habitually make negative I am statements, never realizing they're creating those very conditions they wish to avoid. Now, some might ask, but what about external circumstances? Remember this eternal truth: circumstances don't matter. Only state of consciousness matters. When you change your state of consciousness, circumstances must change to match your new state. You see, there's something remarkable about your brain's reticular activating system. Once you impress upon it what you want, it begins to notice opportunities and possibilities that were always there but previously invisible to you. But you must first impress it with the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Let me share with you the power of persistent assumption. When you assume something is true and persist in that assumption despite all evidence to the contrary, your brain begins to create neural pathways that support that assumption. This is literally rewiring your brain for success. Here's what's profound about your mental conversations. They are literally instructions to your subconscious mind. Every time you imagine a conversation, you're programming your brain. Well, most people mentally rehearse conversations of failure and limitation instead of success and abundance. Let me share with you something profound about the nature of your consciousness. Your entire world, every experience, every relationship, every circumstance is simply your consciousness pushed out into manifestation. When you truly grasp this, you'll understand why changing your consciousness is the only way to permanently change anything in your world. Now understand this. Your brain is infinitely malleable. Scientists call this neuroplasticity, but I tell you it is the physical expression of a spiritual law. Every time you assume a new state of consciousness, you are literally creating new neural pathways. Your brain physically restructures itself to match your dominant mental state. You see, most people wait for something to happen before they change their mental state. But here's the profound truth. This is the exact opposite of how the law works. You must first occupy the state of consciousness that corresponds to your desire. Your physical reality has no choice but to reshape itself to match your inner state. Let me tell you about what I call living from the end. When you thoroughly understand this, you'll never again worry about the how of manifestation. You see, the end is where we begin. Occupy the state of consciousness of already having what you desire. Feel it as real now. Your brain will then orchestrate the means. Here's something fascinating about your subconscious mind. It accepts as true whatever you feel to be true. It doesn't distinguish between what you're vividly imagining and what you're actually experiencing. This is why feeling is the secret. Feel the reality of your desire now, and your subconscious must find ways to bring it into physical expression. You know what's remarkable about your mental conversations. They are the thread from which the fabric of your reality is woven. Every internal dialogue, every imagined conversation is creating neural patterns in your brain. But most people allow their mental conversations to be dominated by doubt, worry, and limitation. Let me share with you the power of revision. When you revise an event in your imagination, you're not merely creating a pleasant fantasy. You are literally rewiring your brain's interpretation of that event. The revised version becomes your new reality, because consciousness is the only reality. Now, some might say, but what about facts? Remember this, facts are only the fruit of past assumptions. Change your assumptions, and you change the facts. Your brain is constantly filtering reality based on your assumptions. Change your assumptions, and you change what your brain perceives as fact. You see, there's something profound about your attention. Whatever you place your attention on grows in your consciousness. This is why I tell you to withdraw your attention from unwanted conditions. Give all your attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Let me tell you about the law of identical harvest. Your brain will always manifest what you plant in consciousness. If you plant the seed of assumption that you are wealthy, successful, loved, while feeling the reality of it, your brain must find ways to manifest these conditions. Let me reveal to you something extraordinary about the power of your persistent imagination. Your imagination, sustained with feeling, is the very substance from which your future is molded. When you persist in imagining and feeling your desire is already fulfilled, you are literally programming your brain to manifest that reality. Now, understand this crucial truth. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what you're vividly imagining and what you're physically experiencing. When you imagine with feeling, you create the same neural patterns that would be created if you were actually experiencing your desire. This is why imagination is the real and external world the shadow. You see, most people use their imagination unconsciously, letting it run wild with fears and worries. But here's the profound truth. Your imagination is God's gift to you. It is the creative power through which you can consciously design your life. Every time you imagine something vividly, you're literally rewiring your brain's circuitry. Let me share with you what I call the sleeping technique. As you lay in bed at night, assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Feel the naturalness of having what you desire. Your subconscious mind is most receptive in these drowsy moments, and whatever you impress upon it then must manifest in your world. Here's something remarkable about your consciousness. It operates on multiple frequencies simultaneously. Your conscious mind might doubt, but if you can impress your desire upon your subconscious through feeling, doubt becomes irrelevant. Your subconscious will work tirelessly to manifest what you've impressed upon it. You know what's fascinating about your brain's reticular activating system? Once you program it through conscious imagination and feeling, it begins to notice opportunities and possibilities that were always there but previously invisible to you. But you must first impress it with the feeling of the end result. Let me tell you about the power of your self-concept. Every thought you think about yourself, every assumption you hold about who you are, is literally shaping your brain's neural pathways. But most people never realize they can consciously choose and revise their self-concept. Now, some might ask about time. Remember this, in consciousness, there is no time. The moment you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, the seed is planted. Your brain begins its magnificent work of bringing your assumption into physical reality. You see, there's something profound about feeling. Feeling is the secret. When you generate the feeling of having what you desire, you activate the same neural networks that would be activated if you actually had it. Your brain then begins to create the circumstances that match this neural pattern. Let me reveal to you a profound secret about the architecture of your mind. Your consciousness is not confined to your physical brain. It is infinite, boundless, and all-powerful. Yet your brain is the magnificent instrument through which this infinite consciousness expresses itself in your physical experience. Now, understand this fundamental principle. Every thought you think, every feeling you entertain is creating pathways in your brain. These neural pathways become the channels through which your future experiences must flow. But most people create these pathways unconsciously, never realizing they can consciously design them. You see, when you truly understand that your brain is infinitely malleable, you'll realize that no state is permanent, unlike it's so through your persistent assumption. Your current circumstances, no matter how seemingly fixed, are only the reflection of past patterns of thought. Change the pattern, and you change the reflection. Let me share with you what I call the divine moment. This moment right now is the only time when you can impress new patterns upon your brain. The past exists only in memory, the future only in imagination. But in this divine moment, you have the power to rewrite your entire life story. Here's something extraordinary about your subconscious mind. It cannot distinguish between what you're vividly imagining and what you're physically experiencing. When you imagine with feeling, you create the same neural patterns that would be created by the actual experience. This is why imagination is the very substance of creation. You know what's fascinating about consciousness? It operates on the principle of assumption. Whatever you assume to be true, your brain will work tirelessly to prove right. But most people make their assumptions based on past experience rather than desired experience. Let me tell you about the power of your inner conversations. Every word you speak in your mind is literally programming your brain. These mental conversations are not mere idle chatter. They are the blueprints from which your brain constructs your future experiences. Now, some might wonder about persistent negative thoughts. Remember this, a thought only has power over you if you give it the power of your attention and feeling. You can choose in any moment to withdraw your attention from unwanted thoughts and place it fully on the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You see, there's something profound about the law of identical harvest. Whatever you plant in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind through feeling and persistent assumption must grow into your physical reality. But you must water it with attention and nurture it with conviction. Let me share with you the power of revision. When you revise an event in your imagination, feeling it as you wish it had happened, you're not merely creating a pleasant fantasy. You are literally rewiring your brain's interpretation of that event, which must then change your future. Let me reveal to you the deepest truth about consciousness and creation. Your entire universe exists within your own consciousness. Everything you perceive, everything you experience, is simply consciousness expressing itself in form. When you truly grasp this, you'll understand why changing your consciousness is the master key to changing your entire world. Now, understand this vital principle. Your brain is not merely recording reality, it is creating reality based on your dominant mental states. Every assumption you hold, every feeling you nurture, every state you occupy is literally reshaping your neural architecture. But most people never realize they are the architects of their own brain structure. You see, there's something profound about what I call the law of reversed effort. The harder you try to make something happen through physical effort alone, the more you reinforce the consciousness of lack. Instead, assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and your brain will naturally orchestrate its manifestation. Let me share with you what I call the sadbath. This is the state where you completely rest in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled. When you enter this state, you cease all effort, because in consciousness, the thing is already done. Your brain then works effortlessly to bring it into manifestation. Here's something remarkable about your attention. Whatever you place your attention on grows in your consciousness. This is not metaphysical speculation. This is literal brain function. Your attention strengthens neural pathways, but most people habitually focus their attention on what they don't want instead of what they do want. You know what's fascinating about your subconscious mind? It takes everything personally. When you say they are, he is the yours, your subconscious interprets it as I am. This is why you must be extremely careful about how you think and speak about others. You are literally programming your own subconscious. Let me tell you about the power of your nightly review. The moments before sleep are crucial because your subconscious is most receptive then. Whatever you impress upon your mind as you drift off to sleep will work all night long to reshape your brain's neural patterns. Now, some might ask about persistence. Remember this, persistence is not about forcing or struggling. It's about maintaining the feeling of your wish fulfilled regardless of appearances. Your physical senses may deny it, but you must remain faithful to your assumption. Now understand this fundamental truth about your brain's function. It's constantly seeking evidence to support your dominant beliefs and assumptions. This is not just psychology. This is the very mechanism through which consciousness creates reality. Your brain will literally filter reality to match your assumptions. You see, there's something extraordinary about what I call controlled imagination. When you consciously direct your imagination with feeling, you're not just daydreaming. You're actually programming your brain's neural networks. These networks then become the channels through which your future must flow. Let me tell you about the power of your first-person perspective. When you imagine from the first-person view, feeling and experiencing your desire is already fulfilled, you create far more powerful neural patterns than if you merely observe from the outside. Your brain responds as though it's happening now. Here's something fascinating about your consciousness. It operates in states. Each state has its own complete set of memories, beliefs, and expectations. When you enter a new state, you literally access a new set of neural pathways. But most people remain stuck in unwanted states, never realizing they can choose a new state at will. You know what's remarkable about your self-talk? Every I am statement you make is literally an instruction to your subconscious mind. Your brain doesn't question these statements, it simply works to make them true. But most people unconsciously make limiting I am statements all day long. Let me share with you the power of feeling. Feeling is the secret because feeling creates the neural patterns that attract corresponding experiences. When you generate the feeling of having what you desire, you're not just creating a pleasant emotion. You're literally rewiring your brain for success. Now, some might wonder about the role of action. Remember this, action does not create, it only expresses. True creation happens in consciousness first. When you occupy the state of having your desire fulfilled, appropriate action flows naturally and effortlessly. You see, there's something profound about what I call mental diet. Just as your physical body is built from the food you eat, your experience is built from the mental food you consume. Every thought, every assumption, every inner conversation is either nourishing or poisoning your future. Let me tell you about the law of reversibility. Just as physical action produces feeling, feeling can produce physical action. By deliberately assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you set in motion the physical actions that will bring it into manifestation. Consider for a moment the nature of your thoughts. Are they not the very fabric of your reality? Every experience, every circumstance, every object in your world, All of these are but outpicturings of the state of consciousness you occupy. You are in every moment living in a world of your own creation. And yet, how often do you find yourself resisting this truth, fighting against the very reality you have brought into being? The time has come to release this resistance, to let go of the struggle, the doubt, the fear that has held you in its grip for far too long. For these are nothing more than shadows cast by the light of your own imagination. They have no power over you, save that which you have given them. And in this moment, you are being called to reclaim that power. Trust in the process, my friends. Trust in the law that governs all of creation. For this law is not something external to you, not some distant dish that must be appeased or manipulated. No, this law is the very essence of your being. It is the principle by which your thoughts are made manifest in the world of form. When you truly understand this, when you allow this truth to sink deep into the very marrow of your bones, you will realize that there is nothing to fear, nothing to resist, nothing to struggle against. For you are the author of your own story, the creator of your own destiny. Let go of the need to control every detail of your life. Release the anxious thoughts that plague your mind, telling you that you must struggle and strive to make things happen. These thoughts are born of the belief in separation, the illusion that you are somehow apart from the source of all creation. But I tell you now, this separation is merely a dream from which you are now awakening. In truth, you are one with the infinite creative power of the universe. This power flows through you in every moment, shaping your world according to the patterns of your thoughts and beliefs. When you resist this flow, when you try to force outcomes through sheer willpower, you only create tension and discord in your life. But when you let go, when you surrender to the process, you align yourself with this infinite power. You become a clear channel through which it can express itself in your life. And in this state of alignment, miracles become commonplace. The seemingly impossible becomes not only possible, but inevitable. Think of a seed planted in the earth. Does it struggle and strain to become a mighty oak? Does it worry about how it will grow, or whether it will have enough sunlight or water? No, it simply allows the process of growth to unfold naturally. It trusts in the innate intelligence that governs all life, knowing that everything it needs will be and in the perfect time, and in the perfect way. You, my friends, are no different. Within you lies the seed of your greatest desires, your loftiest dreams. And just like that seed, all you need to do is create the right conditions for growth. Plant your desire firmly in the fertile soil of your imagination. Water it with the expectation of its fulfillment, and then let go. Trust in the process that will bring it to fruition. This letting go is not a passive state of inaction. Far from it. It is a state of alert receptivity, of keen awareness. It is a state in which you are fully present in each moment, ready to receive the guidance and inspiration that is constantly flowing to you from the infinite intelligence of the universe. In this state, you will find that doors open for you that you never even knew existed. Opportunities will present themselves that you could never have planned or anticipated. For when you let go and trust the process, you open yourself to the limitless possibilities that exist beyond the narrow confines of your rational mind. Remember, the world you see around you is nothing more than a reflection of your own consciousness. If you don't like what you see, there's no need to fight against it or try to change it through force of will. Simply change your consciousness, and the world will change accordingly. This is the true meaning of the phrase, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Heaven is not some distant place you go to after death. It is a state of consciousness that you can enter into right here, right now. It is the state of perfect alignment with your true self, with the creative power of the universe that flows through you. When you let go and trust the process, you are essentially saying to the universe, I am ready, I am open, I am willing to receive all the good that is rightfully mine. And the universe, which is nothing more than the outpicturing of your own wonderful human imagination, responds accordingly. Consider for a moment the things in your life that you have been struggling against, the circumstances you've been trying to change through sheer force of will, the people you've been trying to control or manipulate, the outcomes you've been anxiously trying to force into being. Now imagine what would happen if you simply let go of all that struggle. if you release your grip on those situations and allow them to unfold naturally. This doesn't mean giving up on your desires. Far from it. It means aligning yourself with the natural process by which those desires are fulfilled. It means recognizing that your only job is to hold the vision of what you want, to feel the reality of it as if it were already accomplished, and then to let go and allow the infinite wisdom of the universe to bring it about in ways that you could never have imagined. Think of it like this. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't then dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You don't stand over it, willing it to sprout faster. No, you plant it, you water it, and then you trust in the natural process of growth. You know that in due time, that seed will sprout and grow into a magnificent plant. Your desires are like seeds planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. Once planted, once impressed upon your subconscious through the power of your imagination, they begin to grow of their own accord. Your job is not to make them grow faster or to force them into being. Your job is simply to tend to the garden of your mind, to keep it free from the weeds of doubt and fear, and to water it regularly with the expectation of fulfillment. Let go of the how. Let go of the when. These are not your concern. The universe in its vast wisdom knows far better than your limited human mind how to bring your desires into manifestation. It has access to resources and possibilities that you cannot even conceive of. When you try to control the process, when you insist that things must happen in a certain way or within a certain time frame, you only limit yourself. You cut yourself off from the infinite possibilities that exist beyond your current understanding. Trust in the process. Trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Trust that every experience, every circumstance, every seeming setback or delay is actually moving you closer to the fulfillment of your desire. For in truth, there are no setbacks. There are no delays. There is only the perfect unfolding of your own consciousness. Remember, time is merely a construct of the human mind. In the realm of spirit, in the realm of pure consciousness, all things exist simultaneously. Your desire in its fulfilled state already exists. It is not something that needs to be created or brought into being. It is something that already is, waiting for you to align your consciousness with it. When you truly understand this, when you internalize this truth at the deepest level of your being, you will find that all anxiety, all worry, all stress simply falls away. For how can you be anxious about something that is already accomplished? How can you worry about the fulfillment of a desire that already exists in its completed state? This is the true meaning of living in the end. It is not about pretending or make-believe. It is about aligning your consciousness with the reality of your desire's fulfillment. It is about occupying the state of the wish fulfilled, not as a future possibility, but as a present fact. When you do this, when you truly let go and trust the process, you will find that life begins to flow with an ease and grace that you never thought possible. Synchronicities will abound. Seeming coincidences will multiply. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time, meeting the right people, encountering the perfect opportunities to move you towards the fulfillment of your desires. But remember, this is not about passivity. It is not about sitting back and waiting for things to happen. It is about active surrender. It is about taking inspired action from a place of alignment and trust rather than from a place of fear and struggle. When you let go and trust the process, you open yourself to the guidance of your higher self, your intuition. This guidance will lead you to take actions that are in perfect alignment with the fulfillment of your desires. These actions may not always make sense to your rational mind. They may sometimes seem counterintuitive or even illogical. But if you trust in this guidance, if you follow the promptings of your intuition, you will find that they lead you unerringly towards the manifestation of your dreams. Think of it like this. You are the captain of a ship, sailing across the vast ocean of life. Your desire is the destination you wish to reach. Now you could try to control every aspect of the journey. You could spend all your time and energy worrying about the weather, fretting over the condition of your ship, anxiously scanning the horizon for signs of land. Or you could set your course, hoist your sails, and then trust in the winds of the universe to carry you to your destination. When you let go and trust the process, you are essentially hoisting your sails. You are saying to the universe, I am ready. I am open. I trust in your infinite wisdom to guide me to my destination. And just like the wind filling the sails of a ship, the power of the universe begins to move you effortlessly towards the fulfillment of your desire. This doesn't mean that the journey will always be smooth. There may be storms, there may be periods of calm when it seems like you're not moving at all. But through it all, you maintain your trust. You know that every experience, every circumstance is part of the perfect unfolding of your desire's manifestation. Let go of the need to know every detail of how your desire will come to pass. Let go of the need to control every aspect of the process. Instead, focus on maintaining the state of the wish fulfilled. Live from the end. Feel the reality of your desire as if it were already accomplished. For in truth it is. In the realm of spirit, in the realm of pure consciousness, your desire is already a fait accompli. Your job is simply to align your consciousness with this truth. When doubts arise, they inevitably will. Do not fight against them. Do not resist them. Simply observe them, acknowledge them, and then gently return your focus to the reality of your desire's fulfillment. Remember, what you resist persists. What you focus on expands. So instead of fighting against your doubts and fears, simply redirect your focus to the truth of who you really are. A divine being, one with the creative power of the universe, capable of manifesting any desire you can conceive. Trust in the law that governs all of creation. This law is not something external to you. It is not some cosmic rulebook that you must learn to navigate. No, this law is the very essence of your being. It is the principle by which your thoughts are made manifest in the world of form. When you trust in this law, when you align yourself with it, you become an unstoppable force of creation. Let go of the need for external validation. Let go of the need for others to understand or approve of your vision. Your desire, your dream is between you and the infinite creative power of the universe. It is a sacred covenant, a divine promise. Trust in this promise. Trust that if you can conceive it, if you can feel the reality of it, then it must, by the very nature of the universe, come to pass. Remember, the outside world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state. If you don't like what you see in your external reality, there's no need to fight against it or try to change it through force of will. Simply change your inner state, your consciousness, and watch as the outer world shifts to reflect this new state. This is the true meaning of the phrase, be still and know that I am God. It is not a call to action, but rather an invitation to enter into a state of quiet confidence, of unshakable faith in the creative power that flows through you. It is a reminder that you are one with the source of all creation, and that this source is constantly working to bring your desires into manifestation. When you let go and trust the process, you enter into this state of stillness. You cease the constant mental chatter, the endless worrying and planning. You release the need to figure everything out with your limited human mind. Instead, you open yourself to the infinite intelligence of the universe, allowing it to guide you, to move you towards the fulfillment of your desires in ways that you could never imagine. Think of a river flowing towards the sea. Does the river worry about how it will reach its destination? Does it fret over every rock and bend in its path? No, it simply flows. It trusts in the natural process that will inevitably lead it to its goal. You are like that river. Your desire is the sea towards which you flow. Trust in the process. Allow yourself to be carried by the current of the universe towards the fulfillment of your dreams. This letting go, this trusting in the process, is not something you do once and then forget about. It is a continuous practice, a moment-by-moment choice to align yourself with the truth of who you really are. Each time you find yourself slipping back into doubt or fear, each time you catch yourself trying to control or force outcomes, simply remind yourself to let go, to trust, to surrender to the perfect unfolding of your desire's manifestation. As you practice this letting go, as you cultivate this trust, you will find that life begins to take on a magical quality. Synchronicities will abound. Seeming miracles will become commonplace. you will find yourself in a state of flow, moving effortlessly towards the fulfillment of your desires. But remember, this state of flow, this effortless manifestation, is not something that happens to you. It is something that happens through you. It is the natural result of your alignment with the creative power of the universe. It is what happens when you let go of resistance and allow yourself to become a clear channel through which this power can express itself. Trust in the wisdom of your own heart. Trust in the guidance of your intuition. For these are nothing less than the voice of the infinite speaking to you, guiding you towards the fulfillment of your highest good. When you learn to listen to this voice, when you learn to trust in its guidance, you will find that you are never led astray. Let go of the need to compare your journey to anyone else's. Your path is unique. Your manifestation is unique. The way in which your desires will come to fruition is unique to you. Trust in this uniqueness. Embrace it. For it is through your unique expression that the infinite creative power of the universe seeks to manifest itself in the world. Remember, you are not separate from the source of all creation. You are one with it. You are an individualized expression of it. When you truly internalize this truth, when you allow it to permeate every cell of your being, you will understand that there is nothing to fear, nothing to doubt, nothing to resist. For how can you fear or doubt or resist that which you are? Let go of the belief in limitation. Let go of the belief in lack. These are nothing more than illusions, born of the belief in separation. In truth, you are one with the infinite abundance of the universe. Everything you could ever need or desire is already yours. It is your divine birthright. Trust in this abundance. Allow it to freely into your life. As you practice letting go and trusting the process, you will find that your entire experience of life begins to shift. Things that once seemed difficult or impossible become effortless. Obstacles that once seemed insurmountable simply dissolve before you. For when you are in alignment with the creative power of the universe, when you are living from the state of the wish fulfilled, there are only opportunities for growth, for expansion, for the further expression of your divine potential. Trust in the perfect timing of the universe. Trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, exactly when it should. Your desire will manifest at the perfect time in the perfect way. Not a moment too soon, not a moment too late. Trust in this timing, for the universe, in its infinite wisdom, sees the bigger picture. It knows what needs to happen, what needs to fall into place for your desire to manifest in its fullest, most beautiful form. Let go of the need to rush. Let go of the impatience that tells you that you should have already achieved your goal, that you're falling behind, that time is running out. These thoughts are born of fear, of the belief in lack and limitation. They have no place in the consciousness of one who truly understands the nature of creation. In truth, there is no rush. There is no race. There is only the perfect unfolding of your own consciousness. Trust in this unfolding. Trust that every moment is leading you closer to the fulfillment of your desire. For in reality, you are never separate from your desire. You are one with it. It is not something outside of you that you need to attain or achieve. It is a state of being that you step into, a reality that you align yourself with. As you practice letting go and trusting the process, you will find that your entire relationship with time begins to shift. You will no longer feel rushed or pressured. You will no longer feel like you're racing against the clock. Instead, you will find yourself living in a state of timeless presence, fully engaged in each moment, yet always aware of the bigger picture, the greater unfolding of your desire's manifestation. This state of timeless presence is the true key to effortless manifestation. For when you are fully present, fully aligned with Crow's power that flows through you, you become a clear channel through which this power can express itself. You become a co-creator with the universe, working in perfect harmony to bring your desires into manifestation. Let go of the need to struggle. Let go of the belief that you must suffer or sacrifice to achieve your goals. These beliefs are not in alignment with the truth of who you really are. You are a divine being, one with the source of all creation. Everything you desire is your divine birthright. It is meant to come to you easily. joyfully as a natural expression of who you are. Trust in this ease. Trust in this joy. Allow yourself to receive the good that is constantly flowing to you from the infinite abundance of the universe. For in truth, the universe is always saying yes to you. It is always responding to your thoughts, your beliefs, your expectations. When you let go and trust the process, you align yourself with this constant yes. You open yourself to receive all the good that is rightfully yours. Remember, the outside world is nothing more than a mirror, reflecting back to you your own consciousness. If you don't like what you see in this mirror, there's no need to try to change the reflection. Simply change what is being reflected. Change your thoughts, your beliefs, your expectations. Change your consciousness and watch as the world around you shifts to reflect this new state of being. This is the true power of letting go and trusting the process. It is not about giving up on your desires or resigning yourself to whatever comes. It is about aligning yourself with the natural flow of creation, about becoming one with the infinite creative power of the universe. It is about recognizing that you are not separate from this power, but are in fact an individualized expression of it. As you practice this alignment, as you cultivate this trust, you will find that life begins to unfold with a grace and ease that you never thought possible. Doors will open for you that you never even knew existed. Opportunities will present themselves that you could never have planned or anticipated. For when you are in alignment with the creative power of the universe, when you are living from the state of the wish fulfilled, the entire universe conspires to bring your desires into manifestation. Trust in this conspiracy. Trust that every experience, circumstance, every seeming setback or delay is actually moving you closer to the fulfillment of your desire. For in truth, there are no setbacks. There are no delays. There is only the perfect unfolding of your own consciousness. Let go of the need to know every detail of how your desire will come to pass. Let go of the need to control every aspect of the process. Instead, focus on maintaining the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Live from the end. Feel the reality of your desire as if it were already accomplished. For in the realm of spirit, in the realm of pure consciousness, it is. This feeling, this living from the end, is not about pretending or make-believe. It is about aligning your consciousness with the reality of your desire's fulfillment. It is about occupying the state of consciousness that corresponds to your desire being already fulfilled. When you do this, when you truly embody this state, you set in motion forces beyond your comprehension that work tirelessly to bring your desire to manifestation. Trust in these forces. Trust the law that governs all of creation. This law is not something external to you. It is not some cosmic rulebook that you must learn to navigate. No, this law is the very essence of your being. It is the principle by which your thoughts are made manifest in the world of form. When you trust in this law, when you align yourself with it, you become an unstoppable force of creation. Let go of the need for external validation. Let go of the need for others to understand or approve of your vision. Your desire, your dream, is between you and the infinite creative power of the universe. It is a sacred covenant, a divine promise. Trust in this promise. Trust that if you conceive it, if you can feel the reality of it, then it must, by the very nature of the universe. As you practice letting go and trusting the process, you will find that your entire experience of life begins to shift. Things that once seemed difficult or impossible become effortless. Obstacles that once seemed insurmountable simply dissolve before you. For when you are in alignment with the creative power of the universe, when you are living from the state of the wish fulfilled, there are no obstacles. There are only opportunities for growth, for expansion, for the further expression of your divine potential. Trust in the perfect timing of the universe. Trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, exactly when it should. Your desire will manifest at the perfect time in the perfect way. Not a moment too soon, not a moment too late. Trust in this timing. For the universe, in its infinite wisdom, sees the bigger picture. It knows what needs to happen, what needs to fall into place for your desire to manifest in its fullest, most beautiful form. Let go of the need to rush. Let go of the impatience that tells you that you should have already achieved your goal, that you're falling behind, that time is running out. These thoughts are born of fear, of the belief in lack and limitation. They have no place in the consciousness of one who truly understands the nature of creation. In truth, there is no rush. There is no race. There is only the perfect unfolding of your own consciousness. Trust in this unfolding. Trust that every moment is leading you closer to the fulfillment of your desire. For in reality, you are never separate from your desire. You are one with it. It is not something outside of you that you need to attain or achieve. It is a state of being that you step into, a reality that you align yourself with. As you practice letting go and trusting the process, you will find that your entire relationship with time begins to shift. You will no longer feel rushed or pressured. You will no longer feel like you're racing against the clock. Instead, you will find yourself living in a state of timeless presence, fully engaged in each moment, yet always aware of the bigger picture, the greater unfolding of your desire's manifestation. This state of timeless presence is the true key to effortless manifestation. For when you are fully present, fully aligned with the creative power that flows through you, you become a clear channel through which this power can express itself. You become a co-creator with the universe, working in perfect harmony to bring your desires into manifestation. Let go of the need to struggle. Let go of the belief that you must suffer or sacrifice to achieve your goals. These beliefs are not in alignment with the truth of who you really are. You are a divine being, one with the source of all creation. Everything you desire is your divine birthright. It is meant to come to you easily, joyfully, as a natural expression of who you are. Trust in this ease. Trust in this joy. Allow yourself to receive the good that is constantly flowing to you from the infinite abundance of the universe. For in truth, the universe is always saying yes to you. It is always responding to your thoughts, your beliefs, your expectations. When you let go and trust the process, you align yourself with this constant yes. You open yourself to receive all the good that is rightfully yours. Remember, the outside world is nothing more than a mirror, reflecting back to you your own consciousness. If you don't like what you see in this mirror, there's no need to try to change the reflection. Simply change what is being reflected. Change your thoughts, your beliefs, your expectations. Change your consciousness and watch as the world around you shifts to reflect this new state of being. This is the true power of letting go and trusting the process. It is not about giving up on your desires or resigning yourself to whatever comes. It is about aligning yourself with the natural flow of creation, about becoming one with the infinite creative power of the universe. It is about recognizing that you are not separate from this power, but are in fact an individualized expression of it. As you practice this alignment, as you cultivate this trust, you will find that life begins to unfold with a grace and ease that you never thought possible. Doors will open for you that you never even knew existed. Opportunities will present themselves that you could never have planned or anticipated. For when you are in alignment with the creative power of the universe, when you are living from the state of the wish fulfilled, the entire universe conspires to bring your desires into manifestation. Trust in this conspiracy. Trust that every experience, every circumstance, every seeming setback or delay is actually moving you closer to the fulfillment of your desire. For in truth, there are no setbacks. There are no delays. There's only the perfect unfolding of your own consciousness. Let go of the need to know every detail of how your desire will come to pass. Let go of the need to control every aspect of the process. Instead, focus on maintaining the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Live from the end. Feel the reality of your desire as if it were already accomplished. For in the realm of spirit, in the realm of pure consciousness, it is. This feeling, this living from the end, is not about pretending or make-believe. It is about aligning your consciousness with the reality of your desire's fulfillment. It is about occupying the state of consciousness that corresponds to your desire being already fulfilled. When you do this, when you truly embody this state, you set in motion forces beyond your comprehension that work tirelessly to bring your desire into manifestation. Trust in these forces. Trust in the law that governs all of creation. This law is not something external to you. It is not some cosmic rule book that you must learn to navigate. No, this law is the very essence of your being. It is the principle by which your thoughts are made manifest in the world of form. When you trust in this law, when you align yourself with it, you become an unstoppable force of creation. Let go of the need for external validation. Let go of the need for others to understand or approve of your vision. Your desire, your dream, is between you and the infinite creative power of the universe. It is a sacred covenant, a divine promise. Trust in this promise. Trust that if you can conceive it, if you can reality of it, then it must, by the very nature of the universe, come to pass. As you practice letting go and trusting the process, you will find that your entire experience of life begins to shift. Things that once seemed difficult or impossible become effortless. Obstacles that once seemed insurmountable simply dissolve before you. For when you are in alignment with the creative power of the universe, when you are living from the state of the wish fulfilled, there are no obstacles. There are only opportunities for growth, for expansion, for the further expression of your divine potential. Trust in the perfect timing of the universe. Trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, exactly when it should. Your desire will manifest at the perfect time in the perfect way. Not a moment too soon, not a moment too late. Trust in this timing. For the universe, in its infinite wisdom, sees the bigger picture. It knows what needs to happen, what needs to fall into place for your desire to manifest in its fullest, most beautiful form. Let go of the need to rush. Let go of the impatience that tells you that you should have already achieved your goal, that you're falling behind, that time is running out. These thoughts are born of fear, of the belief in lack and limitation. They have no place in the consciousness of one who truly understands the nature of creation. In truth, there is no rush. There is no race. There is only the perfect unfolding of your own consciousness. Trust in this unfolding. Trust that every moment is leading you closer to the fulfillment of your desire. For in reality, you are never separate from your desire. You are one with it. It is not something outside of you that you need to attain or achieve. It is a state of being that you step into, a reality that you align yourself with. As you practice letting go and trusting the process, you will find that your entire relationship with time begins to shift. You will no longer feel rushed or pressured. You will no longer feel like you're racing against the clock. Instead, you will find yourself living in a state of timeless presence, fully engaged in each moment, yet always aware of the bigger picture, the greater unfolding of your desire's manifestation. This state of timeless presence is the true key to effortless manifestation. For when you are fully present, fully aligned with the creative power that flows through you, you become a clear channel through which this power can express itself. You become a co-creator with the universe, working in perfect harmony to bring your desires into manifestation. Let go of the need to struggle. Let go of the belief that you must suffer or sacrifice to achieve your goals. These beliefs are not in alignment with the truth of who you really are. You are a divine being, one with the source of all creation. Everything you desire is your divine birthright. It is meant to come to you easily, joyfully, as a natural expression of who you are. Trust in this ease. Trust in this joy. Allow yourself to receive the good that is constantly flowing to you from the infinite abundance of the universe. For in truth, the universe is always saying yes to you. It is always responding to your thoughts, your beliefs, your expectations. When you let go and trust the process, you align yourself with this constant yes. You open yourself to receive all the good that is rightfully yours. Remember, the outside world is nothing more than a mirror reflecting back to you your own consciousness. If you don't like what you see in this mirror, there's no need to try to change the reflection. Simply change what is being reflected. Change your thoughts, your beliefs, your expectations. Change your consciousness and watch as the world around you shifts to reflect this new state of being. This is the true power of letting go and trusting the process. It is not about giving up on your desires or resigning yourself to whatever comes. It is about aligning yourself with the natural flow of creation, about becoming one with the infinite creative power of the universe. It is about recognizing that you are not separate from this power, but are in fact an individualized expression of it. As you practice this alignment, as you cultivate this trust, you will find that life begins to unfold with a grace and ease that you never thought possible. Doors will open for you that you never even knew existed. Opportunities will present themselves that you could never have planned or anticipated. For when you are in alignment with the creative power of the universe, when you are living from the state of the wish fulfilled, the entire universe conspires to bring your desires into manifestation. Trust in this conspiracy. Trust that every experience, every circumstance, every seeming setback or delay is actually moving you closer to the fulfillment of your desire. For in truth, there are no setbacks. There are no delays. There is only the perfect unfolding of your own consciousness. Let go of the need to know every detail of how your desire will come to pass. Let go of the need to control every aspect of the process. Instead, focus on maintaining the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Live from the end. Feel the reality of your desire as if it were already accomplished. For in the realm of spirit, in the realm of pure consciousness, it is. This feeling, this living from the end, is not about pretending or make-believe. It is about aligning your consciousness with the reality of your desire's fulfillment. It is about occupying the state of consciousness that corresponds to your desire being already fulfilled. When you do this, when you truly embody this state, you set in motion forces beyond your comprehension that work tirelessly to bring your desire into manifestation. Trust in these forces. Trust in the law that governs all of creation. This law is not something external to you. It is not some cosmic rule book that you must learn to navigate. No, this law is the very essence of your being. It is the principle by which your thoughts are made manifest in the world of form. When you trust in this law, when you align yourself with it, you become an unstoppable force of creation. Let go of the need for external validation. Let go of the need for others to understand or approve of your vision. Your desire, your dream, is between you and the infinite creative power of the universe. It is a sacred covenant, a divine promise. Trust in this promise. Trust that if you can conceive it, if you can feel the reality of it, then it must, by the very nature of the universe, come to pass. As you practice letting go and trusting the process, you will find that your entire experience of life begins to shift. Things that once seemed difficult or impossible become effortless. Obstacles that once seemed insurmountable simply dissolve before you. For when you are in alignment with the creative power of the universe, when you are living from the state of the wish fulfilled, there are no obstacles. There are only opportunities for growth, for expansion, for the further expression of your divine potential. Trust in the perfect timing of the universe. Trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, exactly when it should. Your desire will manifest at the perfect time, in the perfect way. Not a moment too soon, not a moment too late. Trust in this timing. For the universe in its infinite wisdom sees the bigger picture. It knows what needs to happen, what needs to fall into place for your desire to manifest in its fullest, most beautiful form. Let go of the need to rush. Let go of the impatience that tells you that you should achieve your goal, that you're falling behind, that time is running out. These thoughts are born of fear of the belief in lack and limitation. They have no place in the consciousness of one who truly understands the nature of creation.